Stabilized production scheduling is the single most important part of achieving on-time performance. It means that you have a production schedule that's rigidly connected to your customer demand so that customer requirements are percolated down through the BOMs and routings in a very natural way. This enables what I call customer-directed planning, scheduling, and execution. All the things we do in the 90 Days to On-Time Execution program provides a foundation for doing this. Now, when it comes to the nuts and bolts of scheduling, here's the principal issue. Let's compare the typical scheduling approach to the lean MRP scheduling approach that we employ in the 90 Days program. In typical ERP production scheduling, customer orders are translated into production orders that are then scheduled. The schedule is then routinely updated to reflect the current status of production. We then look to this schedule to answer two basic business questions. We ask, when are manufacturing and purchasing activities due? And we also want to know, when do we expect these activities to be completed? Now, there's three major problems with this. They're huge problems. First, you actually need two mutually exclusive sets of scheduling assumptions to effectively answer both of these types of questions. So that means that if you have one schedule, you have to pick one and not the other. The second issue is that regular shop floor updates, if they're not employed correctly, will introduce a feedback loop that can turn both your schedule and your supply chain into giant oscillators, which leads to schedule volatility. The third issue is that shop floor scheduling performance metrics become complete bunk because you don't have a stable baseline against which to measure. So, in contrast with the lean MRP approach, we actually employ two different schedules, each calculated using the appropriate scheduling assumptions. We're now able to answer both of those types of business questions. We're also no longer wreaking havoc on the supply chain with our schedule because we now have feedback that's informational and that can be appropriately applied to calculating projected completion dates and is useful. We now have schedule performance metrics at every level of the operation that are true and correct because they're measured relative to a baseline schedule that's very strongly rooted in the customer requirements.